Hey, how's it going? It's Matt Davis reading the newspaper so that you don't have to. This morning's story is about fear of speaking up against Donald Trump. Um, the story is reported by Elizabeth Bumiller. She's gone and spoken to dozens of people who are terrified of speaking out against the new president and his henchmen. Some of the people that are spoken to won't be quoted. One prominent first-term critic of Mr. Trump said in a recent interview that not only would he not comment on the record, he did not want to be mentioned in this article at all. Every time his name appears in public, he said, the threats against him from the far right increase. I kind of wonder who that is and, how spectacularly difficult their life must have gotten lately. The story does go into some of the security risks for speaking up. It does quote a Democrat from California, Representative Eric Swalwell, who he says he spends a lot of money on campaign security, and his kindergarten daughter recently drew a picture of the family and included a member of their security detail. One of the really interesting people quoted is Senator Todd Young of Indiana. He recently spoke out against Tulsi Gabbard being confirmed as Secretary of Intelligence. Ms. Gabbard, as you know, if you read the newspaper, has some spectacularly terrible views about international affairs. She essentially is parroting talking points from Russia on a lot of fronts: Syria, Russian involvement in Ukraine, the elections, whatever, you name it. Tulsi Gabbard has said some pretty KGB inspired things. Anyway, she's now our director of intelligence. Mr. Young, he kind of asked some pointed questions at her confirmation hearing, and Elon Musk said on social media that Mr. Young was a deep state puppet. So, Elon Musk basically policing the boundary of criticism there. Mr. Musk soon deleted his tweet and said he'd spoken to Mr. Young, who subsequently confirmed Ms. Gabbard. The calculus has shifted a bit around criticizing Trump because Elon Musk will finance opponents for you in your races. So the point being that, someone who would have been more outspoken, Todd Young, had to sort of rein it in a bit, I think, because he was scared about Elon Musk financing a primary opponent. They don't get into that level of detail, but Senator Chris Coons, who's a Delaware Democrat, does in this piece. He says essentially Musk has issued a credible electoral threat to finance primary opponents. But Chris Coons also says senators only face re-election every 6 years in this country. And he says, basically everyone's just hoping things will change so that they can kind of get back to being more outspoken. The piece also quotes democracy experts saying why this is so terrible. If people stop speaking out critically because they're scared of security threats or just retaliation from the president, then obviously you don't have an open dialogue in a democracy, which is what this country's democracy has been based on. It does, however, show signs of the tide shifting. It does quote Jim Farley, who's the chief executive of Ford Motor Company, being really outspoken about the impact of tariffs on the auto industry. Farley said that the tariffs would blow a hole in the US industry we've never seen. Now, Musk and Trump and their friends went ahead and put the tariffs in place, but then Farley had a phone call along with a couple of other chief execs from automakers with Mr. Trump, and he reversed his measures. So you're talking about somebody who's in a position to say what the truth is, saying the truth, Trump doing something self-destructive and then reversing course because their critics have been outspoken. I don't know about you, but I've historically struggled sometimes to rein in criticism of people who deserve it. And at other times I've been fairly outspoken. And I think all of us are trying to find the line. My business has suffered under Trump. I do strategic communications and PR for nonprofits. Many of them have seen their budgets slashed as a direct and indirect result of Trump's re-election. So my business has suffered. Does that mean I'm less likely to speak out against what I see as a fascist and authoritarian regime? No. And in fact, if anyone wants to cut my funding as a result, you're more than welcome, folks. Please. I can take it. I'll turn the other cheek. And I think it's very important that we all sort of look deeply and try and find some of that coverage. democracies die when people act in their interests rather than along what's right. And I'm really glad that you're here with me. Please do talk about this with your friends and family. How gutsy are we? How much money are we prepared to lose for being right? Because honestly, if I'm homeless as a result of Donald Trump being a horrible person, I would welcome being homeless if you were also homeless as a result of the same thing. And we could make a nice little commune somewhere underneath a bridge, I hope. I would rather that than that I kind of stayed quiet at a time like this. And I hope we can all find that kind of courage. I'm Matt Davis. I've been reading the newspaper this morning so that you don't have to. Please do share this with your friends and family. And thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you.